Everything is fine. You know what that means? It means the opposite. Run. Greetings, comic lovers, and welcome back to Casually Comics, the channel where we chat all things comics, from music comics new and old to history to anecdotes, truly wherever our whims take us. Horror comics, once a thriving genre, crushed in North America by the Comics Code, censorship, and the mores of the time. But they're still around, and they still have their fans. This comic's actually from the UK, so I don't know why I told you that. I think I just wanted to put some EC covers on there, some classic EC covers. I don't get to do that enough. So time for recording, I'm deep in the Webtoon hole. I asked you all for recommendations, and one stuck out. And that was Everything is Fine. Mostly because I figured the title was being used ironically. You know, the kids are all right. Happy end or happiness. Then I went and read the synopsis and I saw the cute little bear heads, and then I went to the author's actual page where it said cats, not bears. So at least that let me know that I wasn't the only person who had thought that, so I felt less alone. But I did that after I read it, so I read the whole thing thinking they were bears. It didn't make much of a difference, but it's one of those things that once you say the word cat, now I can see it, like one of those optical illusions or mind tricks. Anyway, here's the synopsis. Sam and Maggie are a normal couple, in a normal house, in a normal neighborhood. There is nothing strange about their heads, their neighbors, or their sweet little dog. Everything is fine. This one kind of took off, and then Webtoon started doing those little animations to promote it. The animations are also very eerie.
Oh, hey, Charlie. Would you like to come over for dinner tomorrow? Okay.
The community for this one is very active, time of recording, and it's a work that's generated a lot of theories because there's a lot of mystery as to just what is going on and what's happened to the world and what's up with their cat heads. There's a Discord, apparently it's very active. I would not know, for I've been kicked out of every single Discord I've been a part of for inactivity, so I did not bother, I would just get kicked out. There's also a lot of fun fan art. It's been very interesting, so I thought I would share a couple of chapters with you. Maybe it'll catch your fancy too. And if it does, you can talk to me about it, because Discord is too fast-paced for me. I have too many other platforms that I'm on and too much to do. Everything is Fine just finished its first season, and it's time of recording 29 chapters long. It is written and illustrated by Mike Birchall. And well, let's take a look. And remember, everything's fine. We open on your typical suburb, all houses in a row. The time on the clock is also noteworthy. 2:60. Odd. Oh, what a gorgeous day. And is that bacon I smell? The sun is shining, the birds are singing, and today, like every day, everything is fine. That red ominous shadow, totally fine. It's all good. The comic does a lot of that. Slow ramping up, playing with the colors and the formatting and paneling to just build a sense of unease. All these little cues that something's not quite right. Part 1. The New Forever. For a bit, our protagonists talk about how the wife burned the bacon and all of the normal, typical morning stuff, if you burned bacon. We don't see their heads for the first little bit, but when we do, we see that they're wearing those masks, those cat masks with blank, pleasant-ish expressions just on them. As they talk, Sam, the husband, talks about how he needs to play the game to get ahead at work. Is playing the game really the best way? Like, you can play roulette as much as you want, but in the end, who owns the casino? And he just stares at her blankly, and you get the slow zoom as the panels get closer to his face. Hun, you know I'm not a gambler. Silly Billy. Thanks, sweetie. Have an awesome day. Sam? Yeah, hun? We need to forget. You know as well as I do. But that's enough. See ya. So after a moment of standing there, she goes to feed their dog, Winston, and you see that the food bowl is full, and she just empties it and puts new food. She waits, but he doesn't come. Oops! Yuck. Winston, come clean this up. Winston, come here, lazy boy. The dog is dead. Chapter 1. The whole work starts off building an atmosphere of discomfort and already has so many questions. Why are their heads like that? Why is the dog dead? Why is it clear that they can't talk about certain things? It's just all very unsettling. Like the next chapter where you see Maggie just sitting at an empty park looking at these empty swings. They're glimpses into what's broken, but you're not entirely certain as to what it is, but you can start to hazard some guesses. You also see how they have one glowing eye that flashes red on occasion. Now for me, the chapter where I knew I was going to be in it for the long haul was chapter 3. As Maggie cooks dinner, she sees her reflection in it, and each time she does this, it gets a bit more dramatic as the series goes on. This time as she cooks, a stew bubble bursts where her eye is, which while disturbing is nowhere near as grim as when it happens later on. The following time when you see it, it looks like a human eye. The bubble splatters on her face and it looks like a bloodstain. Darling, I'm home. Hello, honey. How was your day? Winston seems off. maybe you should take him to the vet tomorrow. Here there's another really good use of the silence, just as the panels flick back and forth between their blank expressions. Also here the vertical format is really well utilized. It's not side-by-side paneling, so your eyes can't flit ahead to see just how long these panels are going to go on, or that they are going on. Instead you have to scroll, and so as you scroll and it just keeps going, that silence stretches, so you can really feel the awkwardness. Okay. Maggie asks Sam to take out the trash before they eat, which he does, but not before poisoning it. As he takes out the trash, he sees something outside. It's a person, mask all rotten, but also looking like it's kind of fused to the head in parts. I just need some food. Are there any scraps in there? Have they been poisoned? You don't have to say anything. Just leave it like you're putting the trash out. Sam does drop it and goes back inside, and once there he tries to continue on just a normal dinner conversation. But the reality intrudes. Hello, I'm sorry, that bag smelled like it was poison. Please, I haven't eaten in days. I'm gonna die out here. Nobody will help me. I think Winston wants to go out. Come here, lazy boy. I'll carry you out. Here we go. I love you, boy. A dog, and it's not poisoned. I know what this must mean. Thank you so much. As Sam comes back inside to sit down, you just hear the man eating the dog, just right outside the window. Now this raised many questions, and I knew I needed answers. As mentioned, this is a very theory-rich fandom. The work lends itself to that. And if you're a fan of trying to piece together what's happening, just based on little world cues or trying to figure out where things are going or people's motivations, then this will definitely pique your interest. But that can also be a turnoff for some people. Some like things to be a bit more laid out or have concrete explanations as to what's happening and why, and some have labeled the work as confusing, or too obtuse, or too slow paced for those who were reading it as it was coming out weekly, while for others that built the anticipation. While some felt that aforementioned information that they were looking for was to help them get invested. So mileage will vary. There are also some little in-world things that if one were to fixate on them could lessen the enjoyment. This is the fact that you see that there are cameras everywhere, but at times characters do things that might raise the question of, oh, was there a camera? Would the camera have seen that? Those kind of things. So it depends on how much one cares to have all those little details explained and how far one can suspend their level of disbelief. If you're really into it and have investment in the characters and the tension, that can override some of those little in-world nitpicks. That can be because you want to see what's going to happen, and once this starts going, it goes hard. Some of the chapters have disturbing imagery warnings on them, which I found amusing because the imagery was already disturbing, and I loved it. But it gets even more disturbing. The formatting on this is excellently done, which after reading all of those Marvel Infinity comics, and even more that I haven't talked about yet, Deadpool and Sue Storm team up, I really appreciate. There's a mix of that quick paneling, back and forth, the white space is utilized, and so is the scroll feature, but not overused. By scroll feature, I mean elongating those panels, drawing down shadows and the like. That white space can be interpreted as silence, and silence is an integral part of this, especially as you don't have the facial expressions because they just have those blank masks. It's really effective. Some chapters also have music, which is a huge add-on to the experience and something unique to the digital reading experience. You don't get that when you're reading a comic unless you get a kind of tie-in CD, I'm showing my age, tie-in CD, tie-in cassette, or some kind of recording or MP3 to play along with it. With this, it's already synced up and it plays for the duration that it's supposed to during the story, and when you're past that point it fades out. If you scroll back, it comes back in. It just kind of adds another layer to it. This for me was an interesting read, very unsettling and a fun community. Time of recording, hold me to nothing. There's also some very interesting themes about conformity and communication, and also relationships vis-a-vis their foundations as partnerships. They're interestingly explored and contrasted. It also plays well with feelings many have had of being in a situation where you need to go along in order to survive, be it socially, economically, or physically. Even if on the surface these may seem like small inconsequential exchanges. Does this seem like something that would be up your alley? Are you reading it already? Or no, not scary enough? Or you're tired of dystopias and suburban malaise? Do you have theories or feelings? Tell me things down below. And while you're down there, please follow YouTube things. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notification so that you never miss a vid. Thanks so much for taking some time today spent discussing comics with me. I always appreciate it, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.